Hi, Stanley.
Hey, Brandy. How's it
How
going?
you doing today? It's good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I feel like I'm in the presence of royalty right now. So I'm a
Uh,
little starstruck. I'm not going to lie.
well, don't make me start cracking jokes. Well, first, my name's Brandy Cruther, and I'm the host of Fit Boston and Beyond. And you think you're excited? Well, I'm even more excited to have you as a guest, Stanley Porter, on Fit Boston and Beyond, and to talk about fitness. I mean, motivation. I'm just so excited to have you, Stanley. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Boston, born and raised, Roxbury. Those of us from Boston, I'm proud to be from the Perry. So I got to let them know. What you
So
say?
you grew up in Boston. What got you into fitness? How did you get into fitness?
Uh, say that one more time.
How did you get into fitness?
Oh, yeah. Fitness, man. Listen, I was a Boston public school teacher, taught history for about 15 years. And I was on my way to work one day and got rear-ended. Car got
Ooh.
totaled. I ended up with a concussion and some back strain, shoulder strain. A long story short, I had been a previous gym rat. So I was, let's bench, squat, curl. That's it. But my diet was all over the place. Corner store, raising the hood, so I'm eating pork rinds from the corner, store, apple pies, whatever, beef patty, all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And juicy juice, and so steak and cheese. I got to go on and on. Pizza. So here I am, sedentary for the first time. I can't go because I have a concussion. I have to rest, bed rest. I can't go to the gym. I was into martial arts. I can't do that. And so it all caught up with me. So
Wow.
I ended up, gaining about a little over 25 pounds over like a few months. And my cholesterol was high. My triglyceride count was 10 times the level it should have been. Yeah, I was going in for a regular neurology appointment. And they said, listen, man, we got to talk about these labs. And they showed me and they said, listen, you're a stroke waiting to happen. Now, I'd never heard that kind of talk before.
Mm-hmm.
I said, can you run those numbers again? They ran them again. They said, it's the same thing. Yeah. I mean, recount. I demand a recount. So, yeah, man. Shoot. So it was real. It was real. I had this image of me popping pills,
Wow.
and I didn't want that to be my life at ever, but especially at that age. And so I ended up teaming up with a friend of mine who's a trainer, and she had formerly been obese and had high cholesterol, high blood pressure, so knew a little bit about how to use fitness
Mm-hmm.
in that way, to become better, become
Okay.
healthier. And so she said, listen, if after 6 months you got to do what the doctor's telling you to do, I'm not going to stand in the way of that, but let's just give it a shot.
Wow.
And we went to work. She changed my diet, and I used to hate cardio. So you don't have that problem because I've seen you in action. But listen, I was outside. You know what I'm saying? In the
Oh,
morning. And so eventually, in 6 months, I lost 25 pounds.
oh
And
my.
I was so inspired, and my blood work was normal.
So I
I was
just
so
want to do a recap though, because
yeah.
this is really important. You talked about your fitness level, so to speak, what we'd consider to be the coronary risk factors and those things regarding your health. So it took you to get into a car accident, working for Boston Public Schools, for you to have a wake up call.
Sure did. Sure
Wow.
did. And I don't want to blame this on my being a male, but hey, I'll speak for some of us as we don't stay on top of things as much as
Yeah.
our female counterparts. So it's like something got to be hanging off, before we go and get it checked out. Unfortunately, um, and then honestly, later that with some of the mistrust
Yep.
that many of us have in Black and brown communities of the medical community. So all of that created kind of a distance between me and getting checked up
So you
regularly.
ended up working out though and losing 60 pounds on your own with a friend.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I lost 25.
Okay.
With my friend, and so yeah, it was good. And so over the past, I've lost over the past 6 years about 40 plus pounds.
Wow. So we go from this point of losing weight. Now we're talking about becoming a professional. What got you into personal training, into inspiring others?
Yeah, after being it was a combination. It was like I don't know, that's going to call it the perfect storm, but a lot of things were working together for this. So you have me having this kind of triumph through crisis, now rethinking life. What do I want to do? I'm a new person, right? You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I was looking for a little bit of a career change, something that at the time I didn't think was going to be as demanding on my schedule. Because listen, I think we have that in common too. We both work for Boston Public, so you already know. I mean, it's a field in education where you got to be in it 1,000%. Because it just demands so much of you, as it should. Because we're talking about educating our youth. So, and it's not just about the youth. You're dealing with families. So, the nature of the profession, man, you in.
It's a big.
So I was looking for something a little different. And so here is an opportunity to still operate in what I like to call my gift, because I'm still an educator. I love teaching. And the biggest thing about teaching for me was always getting that aha moment from students. Something that they didn't consider. Mr. Porter said something that made me go, you know what I mean? And to discover oneself. That's what it was. I mean, I used to tell them all the time when I came in, the reason why I'm here is to help you discover you. And even though I was teaching history, it's like, we're going to look through all this stuff, but I want you to find yourself on this page. And so I found, or I believe, that personal training or the world of fitness, I could still do the same thing, and at the same time set myself on a track to maintain a good level of fitness, physical health for myself. So yeah.
So then you got in it. I know you got in it, and you also wrote a book.
Yeah, this actually it was my second go around. Let me tell you how that book came about. The fitness book I imagine you're talking about. It's called The Wait Is Over. Little play on words. Yep, the wait. I've always had that knack for putting words together. Brandy, I've written like 30 songs actually.
Wow.
Written a book before, so writing that's my thing. I used to rhyme, Brandy. I used to be a rapper.
Oh, sure. Well, you can always rhyme right here. Give us a fitness rhyme.
No, here we go.
You know I'll do cardio. I don't got no problem.
Brandy, you got the choreography. You got the dancing in the back. No, but look. So the person that helped me with the weight loss, she's telling me her story, and I'm like, wow, this is some interesting and deep stuff. I was like, people need to hear your story about your journey, because depression is what was one of her major battles in terms of obesity. A lot of stuff she went through that just, put her in that headspace. And food, that relationship between, her and food was not a good one. And so I said, people need to hear this. Well, she said, I'm not a writer. I said, but I am. So I said, I want to thank you, and in exchange for the work you've done in my life, I'd like to pen your story. And so we met, and we put a tape recorder on, whatever the technology was. It wasn't an actual old school tape recorder, but we began to record the interviews. And I sat down and I put it together, and I said, let's call this thing The Wait Is Over, because it's not just about physical weight. She talked a lot about emotional and spiritual weight as well.
Yeah, something that you said, Stanley, we marginalize, but we as fitness professionals really, get close to people being depressed, and how that triggers overeating and a lot of other addictive behaviors. Well, as well as just kind of being in a dark place. That's one thing I really like about fitness. When you meet people, and you said it earlier, how you change their lives. Give us a good story about how you've really helped, pull someone up and inspired them to just get on the road to better health.
Man, there are a few, but the one that is the most, I don't know, it's hitting me right now. Unfortunately, this person is no longer with us,
Mm.
but I got a call or a contact. Someone reached out to my website. They said, my mother is, I don't know if they gave me the actual pounds, but it was a classic case of someone who was morbidly obese, probably, several hundred pounds, and had not left the bedroom, could
Wow.
not, was bedridden, because of the weight and because of the emotional weight. I had never taken a client like this, Brandy, but at the time, I said, I know I have the heart for it, and this is going to be a chance for me to like learn, because we could get the book knowledge, but once you get in some tough situations with clients, that's where you really actually learn what
Yeah.
to do. So when I went in, you can imagine if someone hasn't been out of their room, you can imagine how cluttered it might be.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine how maybe dark it is because the windows probably are not open. You can imagine a whole bunch of other things. And out of respect, I won't, even though I'm not mentioning names, I don't want to go into too much detail. But I was like, wow, I got my work cut out for me. I realized, I said, you know what? The first thing, it's not even about the exercise. Because this woman had been in this position like this for so long, she couldn't get out of bed, Brandy. So my question is like, what can we actually do? So I said, the first thing I'm going to have to do is it's mental work. I said, can I play some music?
Wow.
Most
Wow.
people think about fitness and personal training. We squatting, push-ups, burpees, boot camps. That's a part of it. But what about this other piece here, right?
Go.
That's right. Can I play? Do you mind if I play some music? What artists do you like? Oh, you from that era, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson. Okay, let me find my playlist.
Yeah.
Now she feel good. You know what I'm saying? Certain little things. So long story short, we did a lot of little things, raising your arm, turning your neck. And so I'm telling you, Brandy, I can't even describe to you the time where she stood up for the first time in a long time. So we did a lot of work with just, from where you are, just trying to move forward and back, trying to build the muscles in the lower back. Maybe not to strengthen them, but to get the brain, the neural connection going. Because before we can even move the muscle, there's got to be signals, communication between the nervous system. And so I had to wake her nervous system up so that her body could say, okay, I'm trying to move this now. But Brandy, I'm telling you, I can't do it like her, but she would do like this first, and that's all we could do for some days. That's good. Great job.
Yep.
But man, one day it took about 4 tries. And then she said, I got it. I had to get my hand on her elbow. Brandy, I'm telling you, that amazing story from that woman, and loved it. It was just an awesome experience. But that's one of, maybe what some would consider an extreme case, but it's what came to my mind.
But something in saying that, to be a good trainer, so I'm going to salute you right here. You have to be able to identify with the client. That's what personal training is about. You got personal. That's so you said physically I can't move you, but mentally I can inspire you. Yes. So for you to go back and stop playing music and then not just playing music, but music that connected to her soul.
That's right.
That said, back in the day, I used to, I think I could still be that girl. I think that's such a great way to talk about a trainer, because a trainer has to have a lot of motivational tools coming out of her bag, because every client is different and every client's needs are different.
And
so
Brandy, go ahead, please.
No, just tell us some ways in which you inspire clients, because I know you do personal training. You got your boot camp. And I haven't even talked about your bodybuilding and your nutrition. So stay here with your personal training and your boot camp before I start bragging about you or asking you to take your shirt off.
No. It's the off season. It's the off season now.
We'll have everybody at home mad. I won't do that. Keep that sweatshirt on. I will not do that on this show. But when I have you back, with shirts off, we're gonna have shirts off. But on a
Okay.
serious note, how do you really, you do small group and then you do individual training. How do you really inspire people?
Uh, you know, I think it honestly, it's listening.
Mm,
You have to, you have to be in tune, like you said, knowing the individual. And I really credit my experience in teaching for that. Being able to take a group of people or be in a group setting or just cross from an individual and get a sense of their learning style. Because I think what motivates, let's go back to, let's use the kids as an example. I think what motive, because I rarely had classroom management problems, thank God. I think what really motivated the kid, look it.
well, you know the saying: if you can't manage the class, you can't manage the kids. That's the saying. But
That's
go
right.
ahead, go
That's right.
ahead.
But I think when someone knows that you're there for them, I think that's the key. So I stand
Mm,
outside, and I know we're talking about fitness, but I have vivid memories of this, and these are just transferable skills into fitness. So whether it was in the school, I'm standing outside the classroom. I'm not waiting for you to come in. I'm shaking your hand. I'm high fiving you before you come in. I'm like, yo, how's everything going? Everything's good. We're gonna have a good day today, right? You remember I
mm.
used to work. I got my
Yeah.
start over at Crunch, so I
Mm,
carry some of that with me. I'm walking around, talking to people. I'm smiling and communicating my accessibility, and I think that's a huge start because there
mm.
has to be buy-in. People need to know or feel that you have their best interest at heart and that you want to be around them and that you're ready to give and to pour in. I think that's the first step. I think coming in with positive energy, stuff you know about.
Yeah.
You do not have a lack of positive energy. You need to find whatever you got, put it in a bottle, and sell it. But you have to project that. When you're talking to people, find the positive and celebrate it. Positive
Ooh, say that. I need
reinforcement.
you to say that again because we haven't talked about COVID and what it's done to fitness. But you say
Yeah.
what you just said again.
Find the positive and celebrate it. It's
Mm,
positive reinforcement. That means you want to do it again. You want to strive and do better if you're hearing something's being pointed out to you that you've done right. So much of how we frame our lives and how we see the world is what's wrong. Sometimes we
mm,
look at ourselves, what am I missing? What have I done wrong? What don't I have? And sometimes it's very demotivating at times.
mhm.
But it's very different and you know how it is it's almost like it was water to a flower. When somebody says, man, you a handsome man, or you a beautiful woman. I love that smile. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with where you are with your fitness level. You showed up today. Great
Mm.
job. You know what I'm saying? I like your consistency. Maybe they feel weak. Maybe they feel like the weight's not changing,
Yeah.
but you show up. Let's celebrate that. Um, okay, maybe there's a whole bunch of other nutritional stuff that you need to change, but I see you got your water bottle. I see you
Mhm.
drinking more water. So positive reinforcement. Celebrate the small wins with
Well,
people.
I mean, I've seen you in action, personal training as well, one-on-ones, but even when you teach a group class, but so, there's something that you said that I'd like to salute you on. Whenever I see you, you're always upbeat, you're always positive,
Thank you,
and
Brandy.
something that goes back to being a good trainer because a trainer really models good behavior,
That's
you
good.
know, and
That's good.
for you to say about being consistent, all the times that I've seen you in the gym, you've been nothing but consistent. But this consistency that I'm referring to has led you to other things.
Yeah.
Now, you've been competing bodybuilding. Tell us
Uh,
a little bit about that because not everyone can bodybuild. I just want to let everybody know not everyone can bodybuild because it takes a certain discipline
yeah.
to bodybuild. It takes a certain consistency to bodybuild. It takes a certain individual to be able to get over the hump.
Yep.
People don't understand bodybuilding can be very lonely in
Yes.
preparation and
Yes.
eating because you're home eating one thing and someone else is asking you to eat another. So tell us a little bit about that bodybuilding journey.
Man, when you said that, shoot. Imagine being the guy that show up to Thanksgiving and don't eat what everybody's eating.
Oh, oh.
Let me tell you, one year, you know how we have our meal prep? This is bad. I only did it 1 year. I said the next year I won't. But the first year, because I was so serious, I had my own food. It was like Christmas or Thanksgiving. I had a Tupperware. I was like, I'm good. The next year, this is how I did better. I took a plate, but I didn't take everything. I said, I'm going to take a little bit. That way, at least I got the same, what do you call it, plates as everyone else. But anyway, I didn't even think I was going to get into bodybuilding, Brandy. I mean, I was always a fan. I bought Flex magazine back in the day, but to actually, I'm going to get up on stage in a little underwear or whatever, I was like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's all this? In my mind, I'm like, well, what's all that? You know what I mean? But I got into it because you always have to set new goals.
Yep.
Right? Once you reach a certain level, okay, so I lost 25 pounds. My cholesterol is great. I've just learned that when you set goals, set new goals, try to push for another horizon, you stay sharp. You're alive. You keep growing. You learn more. So I had to find, where am I going next? Weight loss, okay, I understand that. But so that this just is like day in, day out, I'm working out. What am I working out for? What's the next plan? And so I also saw that bodybuilding for me could be a way to stay healthy.
Okay.
So I didn't talk to a lot of ego people who were in bodybuilding. Those people weren't in my circle. You know, there's some people just want to look good and they talk about themselves. Everything is, you know, they can't get out the mirror. You know what I'm saying? But the people I talked to were people that had formerly had weight problems or issues.
Wow.
And they found bodybuilding as a way to keep themselves in check, to keep their insulin levels in check. I mean, these are the conversations I'm having. So I'm like, okay. So I dibbled and dabbled. First, I started following people on Instagram. That's the first thing. I started following people on Instagram. So not thinking I was going to be involved, but the people I followed had programs that you could, you know, they could train you, whatever. I respected what they were doing. So I researched, I looked a whole year, but then a year after I started looking at these things more deeply, I said, let me reach out to somebody and ask them, what does it take? I see you are a coach, not just a trainer, you're a bodybuilding coach. Not it's different.
Yeah, it is.
So she told me out front, this was somebody else, and she says, this is not for the faint of heart. She was hardcore. Oh, B, she's hardcore. She was like, most people quit. She was like, but I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. If you follow my instructions, I can get you there. I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't ready. I tried. I wasn't ready. Brandy, because she didn't talk to me like I talk to people. You know what I mean? It felt mean. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't for the faint of heart. You didn't listen.
Oh man, she would put her foot in my hind. Because now we have to take pictures. I had to take pictures like and upload them like constantly. She would know just from looking at a picture if I didn't follow her instructions.
Wow.
Like this level of detail. She was like, I mean, it could be something like simple, like you had milk, didn't you? Like not like milk is bad for you, but if I didn't tell you to have milk, because I'm trying to get your body to do something, but you have to follow this plan.
You follow the plan. Yeah.
I felt beat up. I felt emotionally beat up. And I'm gonna be honest. I had that moment where it was like, you know, I don't think this is gonna work out between us. It was one of those, I respect you. Thank you so much for what you've done. But yeah, you know what I mean? So she was like, yeah, I understand. Cool. And so, but I can't remember who said this quote, that once the mind has been stretched by a new idea, it can never return to its original dimensions.
Yeah.
So now I done already tasted it. So now it's like, okay, I need to figure out where else to go with this because I see the value. Makes no sense to just not figure the rest of it out. So then I called somebody else that I knew and we talked about my experience with the other coach. This new person developed a new plan, Fortunately, it was the person who helped me, that I wrote the book with, who helped lose the first 25
Oh,
pounds.
wow.
She
Wow.
became a competitor. So
Wow.
she already knew my personality and everything, drew up the plans. And I also got to give a big shout out to a Boston-based trainer, my man Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I got to give him some love, because one of the first coach told me, you need to find,
Connect with
an opposing coach. You need to get an opposing coach. And so there's so many, with bodybuilding, you have to have a team. It's not just you and your trainer. Like, your trainer is not a one-stop shop, because you got to have opposing coach. You might have to have somebody that does your nutrition, and you got somebody that's helping with your exercise. You got to have a team. With women, when it comes to time to like getting ready for stage, they got makeup people. You got to have a team.
Yeah.
You know? And so I searched for opposing coach, and I searched. First, I went through my man, Joe.
That's what I was ready to say. Joe had to be involved. So, Joe Summer.
Right. So I went to him first. And
he's
Joe,
great.
He's the best, right? Come on now. And so, but his schedule was so full. Yeah. And he said, listen, I'm going to recommend you to a friend of mine. I want you to go see him. So I went to go see Reynolds. And Reynolds helped me with my posing. Reynolds, he's surgical with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm sitting, look, let me tell you, man. I don't know really how old the brother is, but I'm celebrating another Boston cat, right? So, but he's sitting there with his little athletic type suit on, right? So he gotta be like 20 years older than me, if not a little bit more. And so I'm only saying that because he looks great. I'm just telling you because he looks great. My man said, let me show you. Huh?
He said he looks amazing.
He looks amazing. So he said, so he's talking matter-of-factly on one of our sit-downs. He says, well, let me show you what I'm talking about. He's not even he just really want to show me. So he unzips the joint, peels it. Yeah.
You said put your clothes back on. Put your clothes back on, brother.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, wow. Okay. Like he's cut. You know what I'm saying? He's like, he busting in the poles. I'm like, wow. And so he took me under his wing, man. I got nothing but love for Reynolds, man. And he's such an attention to detail, so giving. And so now I started feeling more comfortable because, listen, let me tell you, my first coach, when I was sending her pictures of me posing, she didn't really say it in these words, but basically this is how it came out. Don't do that. Don't do that. But she's a good person. Let me tell you, I love her. She's great.
But everybody's got different styles. What you just said is everybody. And think about what you said a little while ago, and this is really important. Each trainer has a different style.
That's right.
There could be the trainer, the coach that's like, man, get up.
That's
then
right.
There's the trainer that's like, I'm gonna help you up. We're gonna do this together.
That's right.
And then there's the trainer that goes like this. I don't think this is working. I think you need to hire someone else. So I just want to say there's all kind of trainers. Like, in life, there's all kind of people. You're not, and another thing too, we marginalize is you're not going to connect with every trainer that you're able to, I guess, to meet or come across. Not everyone vibes. That's
right.
Why you try to find the right personal trainer that fits not just, your physical, but mental needs as well. Because if someone's yelling at you and you're not accustomed to that, Stanley, you're gonna be, I gotta get out of this lady crazy. I'm not used to someone talking to me like. And then you got some people who like that. Yeah, that's what I need. I've been looking for you. Right. So I like what you did and how you talked about styles, and you also talked about your own style as a coach.
That's right. And I just also want to say, because I think it's just, I'm giving her flowers. My first coach her flowers too, because she's amazing at what she does. Mm-hmm. Let me just underscore a statement that I said before. I wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? So, and like you said, there's also the issues of being a good fit, but the world in which she was, I came into it not knowing what I was getting into, and it was a culture shock. And so, but anyway, long story short, I settled on natural. I wanted to do a natural body finish. I didn't want to take a whole bunch. I didn't want to take and enhance myself with any drugs. So if anybody's looking to get into bodybuilding, got to know which path you want. There's many different federations. So it's about finding a federation, an organization that you agree philosophically with, and you understand what they're expecting from you. And all of those steps, dealing with the first coach, who let me know how serious bodybuilding was and how precise it is. Then going to Reynolds to understand posing and how to present myself, and being to reconnect with my old coach, if you will, who really guided me and was able to work with my emotions. I understand what you're feeling right now. This is what's going on. Sometimes if she say it's okay, but other times she says, listen, do you really want to do this? This is what it's going to take. And so I ended up in Texas, the Naturally Fit Federation, Masters. And so that's over 35. Funny story. I'm there kicking it with some of the guys. Brandy, I was not an athlete growing up. I was a musician. So I don't know nothing about that locker room and all this, right? But I got a little taste of it. So it's the night before, we're getting tanned up. You got to register, get your little trunks with your little number, a little pin on it. And for the first time, I think I know what it's like when people see the competition and you get that feeling like, wow, this is what I'm up against. You know what I'm saying? And it's a room full of guys. And in bodybuilding, you can't tell when people got their clothes on. You don't know what's underneath there. Some people look like they really weren't in shape. But man, when they got up to get the tan, I was like, whoa, okay. Whoa, what? And
whoa.
like, whoa, exactly. But it was like, I'm being friendly, I'm introduced. But then as the evening went on, excuse me, you got the sense of, yo, these are people I'm going to be up against tomorrow. And here's the funny thing. I didn't know there was 2 masters categories. There's over 35, and then there's over like 40. So, and Brandy, I ain't got no problems with it. I'm 48.
Okay, so, you still shining. Look, you still shining.
That's right. So I'm kicking it with some of the guys, and I'm like, your masters, not knowing they the young masters.
Ooh.
So the next day, we were backstage. We're all tanned up. We're getting ready to go out. We're lined up. And I'm like, good luck, man. Good luck, man. I'm talking to the young masters that I kicked it with last night. The expediter was like, oh, number 52? He was like, you're over there with those guys. I said, oh, I'm with the masters. So I was like, wow. So it was a whole different ball game too. Like they looked different. Their bodies were different. And it let me know, because sometimes we don't think about how old we are, but sometimes when you get in a situation where you're actually placed age appropriate, you start reflecting. And so I realized a lot about myself at this age. I realized I can do it. That's number one. Wow. That I can get out on the stage. But I also learned a lot about how my metabolism, my body doesn't work like it used to. So one of the things that happened was my body actually began to look better as the show went on. Didn't know why. In the morning, even my coach was like, I'm not sure what's going on with your body. Usually they start to fill out by now before you hit the stage. And even the photographer by the end was like, you look like a whole different person. Here's what we realized. My metabolism takes longer to kind of heat up than it did when I was 10, 20 years ago. So if I want to be ready in peak condition, I have to start earlier than the other people. I have to get up earlier. I have to start the prep earlier. And even now going into thinking I want to do this again in November, I'm thinking there's certain things I got to get started with now in order for them to show up later when I want them to, because it's not going to happen quick for me. So I'm learning about my limitations and I'm learning about what I can do, Well,
it sounds so exciting. How did you place? I know I saw some photos on Instagram and some on Facebook. You look fabulous. So I'm going to give you your kudos.
No, thank you. So I placed third, and there's a category called, I think it's open. And the way my coach did that on purpose, she says, I want to put you in the masters bodybuilder with people that's in your age, but the open is with other people who might be a little younger than you, because I think she felt that I was going to do well in the one where it's just at my age. But she said, I need you to feel the competition. Like, I need you to be in the middle with these other people. And that was a different experience because they pose different, they look sharper. But she said, you need to feel what it's like to go out there among those people. And that's
Wow.
going to give you a reality check, but also a boost of confidence. And so I placed third there. And then in the Masters, I beat out another guy because it was two of us in. So I felt good about that, and I want to do it again. And I know what I want to do better. I know what I want to do better.
No, that's right. What did you say? I got a taste of it. So you said once you get a taste of it, your mind says, "Okay, let's keep going." So I like how you said that.
Let's and it's about my health stats too, because I know my body. I only got down to 14%, and which is good because the goal of mine before was to get below 19. I had 76% muscle mass. This time I want to come in at 80%, and I want to get down to 10. So that's my goal for November, is to come in at 10% body fat, 80% muscle mass, and then we'll see if we do another one after that. But I want to come in a little bit better than I did before.
Now I'm just gonna. No, I wanted to just.
Yeah.
I apologize. I just wanted to ask you a quick question about your nutrition, because when you were talking, that was the first thing. How were you able to manage your cravings, make sure that your meal prep and all that was on point? So just tell us a little about the preparation as far as meal planning for bodybuilding.
Yeah, this goes back to my initial weight loss, even before bodybuilding. I had to learn how to manage those cravings when my health, my general health was at stake. And so the first thing that one of the first tools I employed was substitution, finding a substitute for what it. Now, it didn't have to be the healthiest substitute. A lot of people think you got to go kind of cold turkey and just jump into Brussels sprouts and beets. Look, ice cream was huge for me. I love me some cookies and cream, especially when you take it out and you let it melt a little bit. And it's kind of soft. It's a wrap. It's like your own version of soft serve, but not. Okay. It's a wrap. So I love me some ice cream. But you know what my first move away from ice cream was? Whipped cream.
Oh, wow.
It was Cool Whip, I should say, because my body was craving cold, sweet. So it was like, really, how do you trick your brain into, it wants one thing and you traditionally will give it that cold, sweet. But I can find something else that's cold and sweet that doesn't have the same nutritional problem, doesn't have as much sugar, doesn't have as much saturated fat. And so once I give my body that, my body's like, oh, okay, that's what I wanted, right? Now that has nothing to do with psychological, and if I'm stress eating for the wrong reasons, I'm eating because I'm bored, out of habit, because I watch TV, that's a whole nother conversation. But if we're talking from a sensory level, what your body is wanting to feel settled, you can choose something that's similar to what your normal go-to. So I just did Cool Whip with some berries and almonds, and that did it for me. I didn't need to have the bowl of ice cream. If it was crunchy, it might have been rice cake instead of chips. It might have been a little flavored rice cake. Again, one could argue against Cool Whip. Yes, it's highly processed and whatever, but at that point, I was just looking for a way off the track I was on. And honestly, I got some results with that first. Okay? And then later it became the ability to get off of them completely. That came into play. The next tool, this may help somebody besides substituting, is portion control. So getting into what is the actual serving size? Listen, you want to talk about a bag of popcorn or a bag of chips? A big bag, a serving was when I felt like I was satisfied. I'm done. I mean, how many of us do that? We just keep going, and then by the time we realize, the bag, we've eaten either half or over half the bag. And we like, oh, that little bit at the bottom, like, nah, I can't keep this. I gotta be responsible. That's ridiculous. I ain't got eat a whole bag. Come on, man. I saved that for later. But you don't already hate half the bag.
You already ate that.
3/4 of it. So the next step was to look at what is the actual serving size. Sometimes the serving size was just some packages 18 crisps. Oh, 18? Some is a cup. So then it became, let's measure this out. I'm going to measure out a cup of popcorn or a cup of this, whatever. And when you look at that, it seems so small to what you normally eat.
Yeah.
But now the serving size, the cup, got this amount of calories, this amount of fat, this amount of sugar. And you got to, now your brain starts being aware of how much you're consuming. And so you try to consume that. And let me tell you, I would savor every little bit. If it was 18 crisps, I'd be like 1. I'm like, oh my God, 5. I'm like, okay, I'm getting into double digits now. 15. You know what I'm saying? But that was the next level, portion control, right? And then for me, it started getting into the calorie counting, which is, how much protein am I supposed to have a day? How many carbs? But it's levels to this thing. Not everybody's able to jump over. You got to find what your way out. You got to get off that track you're on. And then once you get off, it's easier to do the other stuff.
I like something that you just said, and I think it brings our conversation full circle today. And when you're talking about health and wellness, but taking baby steps.
Baby steps.
Because basically that's what you said is, Brandy, I started here because I was trying to get here, but I couldn't jump. I couldn't miss a step. I had to go the process until I could better see the picture. I couldn't just throw my canvas up there. I had to really take my time and paint it. So I love how you really put that together and just said, hey, I wanted to do this, but there's bevels to these levels. I just can't shine. I gotta respect the game of shining, and go through the process of it. So I'm gonna put your information up right here on the screen. Yeah. I want people to be able to find you. So it'll go right up. You guys, I just want to say I've been so lucky being a fitness professional in the city of Boston and meeting such dynamic personal trainers. And Stanley Porter's one. So you make sure if you're trying to get in shape, he's a certified nutrition coach, personal trainer, bodybuilder, and educator. Now, I just call him the transformer. So hit him up, Stanley Porter Net. It's free, F12 Records. Don't forget he plays music. That's why he got that records at yahoo.com. So he got a bunch of talents. Now I got on him about this 617-445-8735. But that is not his house number. Don't get nervous. That is his cell phone, and he will return your call. So I'm going to say it again. 617-445-8735 is where you can find Stanley Porter. Let him help you transform your body. Don't forget to go onto his website, stanleyporter.net. So if you're really serious about your fitness and want to take it to the next level, give Stanley a call. We are back, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to keep it up for a little bit because people don't know, where exactly are you teaching now? Where can they find you?
Yeah, I do 70% of my work online virtually. It's something during the pandemic I had to make that pivot, and I'd heard about doing things online, and I put it off for a long time, and then I finally, right before the pandemic hit, said, let me figure out how to do this. And so a lot of work is done virtually, but I do have a partnership with Luna Fitness Club in Dorchester on Morris Boulevard, where I'm able to see some folks over there. So, the Lambert's Plaza right above the fabric store.
Yeah.
It used to be Lambert's Fitness, but now it's Luna Fitness Club. Great owners over there, great community. And so in person, typically that's where I am. And then I do have a few clients that I do home visits.
Some people so you're pretty busy, but you still have space for more people.
I have space for more people, but what I am trying to make people aware of in case they can't get the one-on-one with me is I do have an ebook which has an online challenge that you can do, and it is a community. I have a fitness support group on Facebook. So There may be a little bit of a waiting list for one-on-one. It's where I am right now, and I thank God for that. But I've just got so many calls and so many clients. But I do have other ways that I can service people. I do have a fitness coaching service that I provide, where it's not the typical one-on-one 2 or 3 times a week. It's you meet with me, we have a consultation, I give you homework, and then there's check-ins bi-weekly. So I try to have different ways of servicing people in case they can't get me with the one-on-one. It's going to be a coaching bi-weekly check-in with me. You do the homework, or it's going to be you can read my ebook or my book, The Wait Is Over, and you can get some help through that as well.
Well, I just want to say I'm proud of you. TD Jakes is one of my, I guess, a fan of TD Jakes. And I like one of the things when I was listening to one of his sermons, he said, talks about don't be afraid of change. So I really, want to say I salute you, because a lot of people are afraid of change. And during COVID times, COVID changed us so much. And it had to make us look at business, especially trainers and health clubs. And I'm going to be honest, health clubs are still hurting.
They are.
Some numbers have gone up, but I do want to say a lot of health clubs, and now I'm going to salute them, have made the adjustment by offering virtual classes, by offering virtual personal training, as well as the group exercise classes. So you've seen us go forward, and we'll probably never go back the way it used to be, because you have now a choice. How cool is it to wake up in the morning and wake up to Stanley and get your work on with your group and stuff? So Stanley, I just want to say thank you. I'm going to put your information back up there one more time for being part of Fit Boston and Beyond. I want everyone to be able to see it. You guys, don't hesitate to contact Stanley. He said he got that ebook for you. He can give you a call and do that one-on-one coaching. Transform your life. Everyone's come out of COVID and we're all looking to do something. Now is the time. Don't get a wake-up call by diabetes, high blood pressure, and other things that take a little longer that you didn't have to get, that you can control today. So Stanley, I just want to say I got nothing but love for you, but I blow magic. Whew. So I'm going to blow you my magic.
Yes, Brandy, can I just give you your flowers real quick, Brandy? I know you bigging me up, but you're one of the original superstars, man. Before I was even in personal training, in the fitness space, anybody in Boston can attest to it. You was the fitness celebrity, Body by Brandy. You know what I'm saying? You could look in the Globe, you could look in the Banner, and there you were. You had your spot. And so as a person who always had an entrepreneurial spirit, seeing someone like you, particularly a person of color, doing it at the level that you were doing it, it was a true inspiration. So when I first, and I stopped by, you probably don't remember when we first met, but I stopped by your spot, your studio in Roxbury. And you gave me a quick tour, and you were busy. It was nice. It was buzzing. And that was just a real quick interaction. Then when I met you at Crunch, I was like, wow, like I'm in the same building, And Pete, listen, you're a force. So I'm considering teaching group classes, and I come in, and who's there in the morning? Hey, it's you. And I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. Okay. Stanley, you want to teach a class at 7? What? Following that? I don't think so. But, so Brandy, thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you. I caught your love, and you know something. In these times today, we all need love. So I really appreciate what you said. It's heartfelt, and on the days that maybe I'm feeling a little shaky, I will forever remember this conversation. So I just want to say thank you, guys. Don't forget to check out Stanley Porter. I'm going to wish him a great week. And we want you guys to get up and get moving for the new year. And we plan to keep our city healthy. So Stanley, keep doing great things. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
Take care.